sometimes technology can be your best friend, and sometimes technology can kill you. And in this situation, the Buffalo Bills post game show that we had previously that we were doing on our YouTube channel, unfortunately, the internet went out. So now we have to re upload this video. But how about the game for the Buffalo Bills and for Tyler Bass? Some redemption that we saw from Tyler Bass at the end of the game. You saw the adversity where he missed a extra point in the game, and then you saw another one where he hit the crossbar and made it. And then at the end of the game, for the Buffalo Bills to put their trust in a kicker that has been struggling left and right throughout the season on a 61-yard field goal to defeat the Miami Dolphins in a close battle to the end on the coming down to the last drive, 61-yard field goal with Tyler Bass making that's the confidence boost that you need for your kicker in this situation. Hello, everyone. My name is Brett McDurphy. Welcome back to another edition of the post-game show presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. If you're new to the channel, click on over to the like section, subscribe, and also drop a comment on this video. We appreciate each and every one of you. And if you are a Bills Mafia fan just like myself and you want to subscribe and also share the video with all your friends, we would greatly appreciate that as well. But let's get into the post game. And for the Buffalo Bills, their kicker Tyler Bass creating a game-winning situation where he makes a 61-yard field goal, and the trust from him and the confidence in him to make that kick. I was a little surprised at the end of the game that we did not see the Mike McDaniels take a timeout in that situation just to ice the kicker there. A little bit surprised that we didn't see that, but it's good for the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunate for the Miami Dolphins, but that's the way that the Bills need to roll with it. The Bills now 7-2, Miami 2-6. The Bills taking a commanding lead on the division here, and this is exactly what the Buffalo Bills needed in this situation. I do want to get to the team stats as well as the player stats in this game. Let's go over to the team stats. We'll start with the Miami Dolphins in each category. The Miami Dolphins total yards 373 to the Bills 325 in total yards. The passing yards 224 for the Dolphins, 231 for the Buffalo Bills. Rushing yards 149 for the Dolphins, 94 for the Buffalo Bills. Yards per play 60.2 to the Bills 5.5. First downs in the games 26 for the Dolphins, 24 for the Bills. Third down efficiency, both teams at 500, hitting on 4 of 8 for the Dolphins, 5 of 10 for the Bills. Fourth down efficiency, both teams at 100%. Total plays pretty much even, 60 to 59. Sacks in the game, 1 for the Dolphins, 1 for the Bills. The Dolphins sack was from Chop Robinson. The Bills sack from Greg Rousseau. Total punts in the game, even at 1 punt per team. Penalty yards in the game and penalties. The Bills 4 penalties for 40 yards, most of those coming in the first half. And the Dolphins 8 penalties for 57 yards, including a costly penalty for the Miami Dolphins where they had to a helmet-to-helmet hit from Jordan Poyer, the former Buffalo Bill, on Keon Coleman. And you saw what happened in that situation. It moved the ball down the field and gave the Bills a chance to make that game-winning kick from Tyler Bass. Other turnovers in the game, the fumble loss from the Miami Dolphins, 1 fumble in the game, the interception from Josh Allen on a Keon Coleman pass that was tipped up in the air, Jalen Ramsey getting the pick in that situation. The time of possession battle, as I mentioned so much in the pregame show, how important it was for the Buffalo Bills to win the time of possession battle. Unfortunately, they didn't. The Dolphins having the ball for just under 32 minutes. The Bills having it for just over 28 minutes in this game. Let's go over to the players' stats in the game. We'll start with the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa went 25 of 28 for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. Their leading rusher was Devon Achane, who carried the ball 12 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown in the game, followed by Raheem Mostert with 10 carries for 56 yards in the game. Their leading receiver, Tyreek Hill, 4 catches for 80 yards in the game, along with Devon Achane leading the way with total catches, 8 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. The other touchdown coming from Jalen Waddle, who was held to 2 catches for -4 yards. Most of those yards lost were on that big chunk play that you saw at the end of the game where they had to lateral the ball around, and Jalen Waddle lost a ton of yards on that play with Greg Rousseau tackling him. The leading tackler for the Miami Dolphins in terms of solo tackles, Calais Campbell, in his 17th year in the NFL, coming into this game, making his disruptiveness in the backfield on 6 tackles. Their leading overall tackler in terms of solo tackles, along with assisted tackles, was Anthony Walker with 10 tackles. For the Buffalo Bills, we'll turn it over to them. Josh Allen in passing yards, 25 for 39 for 235 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their leading rusher, James Cook, 10 carries for 44 yards. Their leading rusher, and this is a little bit surprising for me, is the leading rusher is Ray Davis, 2 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown, and leading the way with total catches was Khalil Shakir, 6 catches for 50 yards in the game. Their leading tackler in the game was Dorian Williams with 12 total tackles. Those were combined and solo tackles as well. A few other players with 10 tackles in Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp. The sack coming from Greg Rousseau in the game, and the fumble recovery coming from Kaiir Elam on the play. I do want to get to the kicking side of things. Tyler Bass making all 3 of his kicks on field goals, making from 40, 49, and from 61 yards in this game. That's a great stat for him, especially when he had some competition in this week coming from Lucas Havrizik, who the Bills ended up cutting earlier this week from the practice squad, and the Bills gaining some confidence in Tyler Bass. Now you saw that confidence come out, and it was super important for him to gain his confidence, and I think that this is going to be a big momentum shift when you have a guy like Bass getting his swagger back, what he really needed there, and it was important. I do see you guys in the chat, Red, White, and Bills coming into the chat saying ugly, but we got it. Absolutely. Red, White, and Bills also saying Bass can't miss extra points, but he came in clutch. That's very true in this situation. Missing 1 extra point and hitting the crossbar on the other one. It's really important for the Buffalo Bills to build on this momentum and for Tyler Bass to build on it as well, coming up on a few games that are going to be in the AFC in the next couple of weeks. Let's move ahead real quick to next week for the Buffalo Bills. They will be playing on the road in Indianapolis next week at 1 o'clock. That game will be probably, I imagine, Joe Flacco starting that game for the Indianapolis Colts. I do want to get into how they did this week. They will be playing at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time this week against the Minnesota Vikings. So later on tonight, you will get a chance to get a little bit of a preview of what the Indianapolis Colts are going to do against the Buffalo Bills. So you get to see how they're going to be as an offense. And it's going to be a little bit tough because you do have a good running back for them in Jonathan Taylor, as well as a few players on their offense in Michael Pittman Jr., as well as their first round pick. I'm going to get his name wrong. It's not Troy Franklin, but they're one of their wide receivers that they do have. I always get his name wrong, and I apologize for that. Josh Downs, as well as A.D. Mitchell, is who I was thinking of as the other player, their other wide receiver that they have there. So some big players that we're going to be going up against, and it's going to be a tough task for the Buffalo Bills. But we did see a couple of injuries in the game for the Bills, starting off with Keon Coleman, who we don't have an update on the injuries yet. But as soon as we do get them, we will provide them to you on Go Bills podcast. I do want to turn it over to the rest of the games for the 1 o'clock games. Most of them have been completed, and we will highlight them real quick. Well, let's go around the clock. We'll start with the AFC East games to begin the day. And in overtime, the Titans defeated the Patriots 20-17. We'll go over to the other game. This was a Thursday night game that finished up a few days ago. The Jets defeating the Texans 21-13. Now we'll go around the clock with other games. The Panthers coming into today with little expectation of winning against the Saints. I don't think any experts took them. The Panthers defeating the Saints by 1 point in this game. Commanders defeating the Giants 27-22. The Panthers game, I didn't mention the score, 23-22 in that game. The Chargers defeating the Browns. I apologize. I have Medicine Head. The Chargers defeating the Browns 27-10. The Falcons defeating the Cowboys 27-21. Dak Prescott out with a hamstring injury. You saw the Bengals defeat the Raiders 24 points for the Raiders to 41 for the Bengals. The Ravens defeating the Broncos 41-10 in that game. And then the 4 o'clock games that we see going on right now, Arizona up 7-0 on the Bears. The Eagles are ahead of the Jaguars 7-0 as well. And no score in the Seahawks and Rams game. The Packers are up 3-0 on the Lions. The Lions do have the ball moving down the field a little bit in that game. And then you do have the late games tonight. Those games will be the Indianapolis Colts and Vikings. And then tomorrow night, Monday Night Football between the Bucks and Chiefs. And that's going to be a great game because Baker Mayfield has been playing some pretty good football this season. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who has been kind of a little bit of a turnover machine throughout the season. And we'll get to see what goes on in that game. So some good games throughout the rest of the season and the rest of the NFL Week 9. So we'll get to talk about these games on Overreaction Monday tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do want to go over to the AFC East standings for the Buffalo Bills, and they are currently 4-0 at home, 3-2 on the road, 7-2 overall in the division. The Jets 3-6. So they do have about a 3.5 game lead, actually a 4 game lead now on the Jets. So that's going to be a commanding lead for them. Then you have the Dolphins at 2-6 and the Patriots at 2-7, trailing the AFC East. So it could be a battle for the last place in the AFC East coming up as well. I do apologize, guys. I do have bronchitis right now, so I'm dealing with that. But we are going to continue rolling on in our post-game show. I do want to mention don't forget to like and subscribe, comment on the video, as well as follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on almost every single site that you can possibly imagine. Also, don't forget that we will have more shows throughout the week. You can go over to our website, gobillspodcast.com. Click on over to the website where you can find all of our upcoming shows. This has been the post-game show presented by Go Bills Podcast. We will see you next time. And as always, Go Bills.